What's the word? What's the word?
Feliz Navidad.
I like how you went completely non-black. You didn't say Merry Christmas, and you didn't even say it in English. I like that.
Feliz Navidad.
How's the holiday season wrapping up for you? Actually, sorry. Welcome. Sorry, welcome to our YouTube live. Nothing moves without us, a Black Culture podcast. Bi-weekly, Tatiana and I go over impactful movies, TV shows, and music albums from the past 30 years that have played a pivotal role in the Black experience. And this is our last episode for season two. This is your first season. This is my season. How has
Hmm.
this season been for you? Was this your first podcast?
Yeah, I've never. The only other time I did a podcast was when you asked me to do your podcast before. So this was my first podcast
Discovering
experience. It's
angles.
a yeah, discovering angles exactly. It's been
Lift
a
Us Love
learning
podcast. I just want
experience.
to shout you out.
Oh,
As a matter of fact,
yeah, it's
I'll link that to the description also so people can listen.
okay. That's when I was like talking a
You're
lot.
supposed to.
But
You're supposed to.
yeah, it's a podcast. You're right. You're supposed to talk. You shouldn't just be sitting in silence.
Right.
Um, but it's definitely been like a learning experience, and it's definitely made me. I think I've always been very, not very critical, but critical of what I watch. Uh, Not necessarily in a bad way, but it definitely changed my watching experience. You know, like picking up on themes, picking up on
Right.
differences and similarities. So it's definitely helped me kind of stay focused when um, listening to music and
Right.
taking in art in general and entertainment. So that's been
Yeah.
really good. That's been really great, actually.
I think I've been noticing that a bit more too. You- just like really immersing ourselves into the art so we can like focus and just appreciate it for its value. Like
Exactly.
not being on the phone, not multitasking, just like focusing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a dope realization. I like that.
Yeah, because you know, usually sometimes, especially when you're viewing stuff or listening stuff at home, you're like it's in the background. You're like, all right, let me. What else can I be doing? Can I be folding
Right,
clothes?
right,
Can
right.
I? What's going on with my emails? But with this, with doing the podcast, it's like, are you really watching? So it really, you know, like I said, pulls in your focus to pay attention to what you're taking in. So that's been really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. So
Hmm.
earlier I asked, like, how's your holiday season wrapping up?
You know, I don't know. Holidays just feel,
Are you
like when
happy
you're
about anything? I feel like you're very you're always melancholy. I can't even say the word.
melancholy.
Yeah, melancholy.
Yeah, a little bit, I think, especially around the holidays. I think because it's so different than what it used to be, especially with COVID.
Right,
So, like for instance, for Thanksgiving, I spent it differently than I usually do. I usually spend it with my mom and I spend it with my sister. But like my sister was sick, my mom had different plans, so I spent it with my boyfriend's family, with Robert's family, and it was fun and it was cool, but it was different. And I think
right,
the older you get, you start to realize that you have to kind of start your own traditions to kind of truly appreciate that, like, you know, holiday spirit. And also just knowing that Christmas is not always about Christmas, or the holidays in general is just not about like gift giving, but spending time with people that you love and people that you like. So I definitely think my goal for next year is to really put the time and effort into starting new traditions so that I can gain back my holiday spirit. I feel like the pandemic has been hard on me. I don't know how hard it's been on like other people, but I'm assuming it's
right.
been hard on everybody. Because especially when I think about how pretty much the entire time this is, you know, it's been happening, I've not really had the option to not participate in the world. I've still had to go into work. I've still had to commute. So it's definitely, I just feel like a lingering feeling of, oh, I wish it was like it was before. Because right before the pandemic, I had Christmas at my apartment, my old apartment, and like all my friends came and we like ate and we watched movies and we talked, and it was fun, and it was less about the
Right.
gift giving and more about the hanging out. And now it's really hard to do because pandemic. So I definitely
Right.
think refocusing and just creating my own traditions, and that'll help me next year to kind of stay, to be a little bit more jolly. I gotta be more like Saint Nick.
I like that. I like that.
But how's your holiday season been? How do you feel about the holidays this year? Has it been like everything you wanted it to be? Are you liking the traditions that you've created for yourself?
Um, yeah, they've gotten a lot better. I mean, Erica is very big into. She loves Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not like opposed to it, but I'm not ecstatic about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I enjoy it. I love the atmosphere and like what it represents.
Right.
But I think a lot of my life experience has been not enjoying it the way the holidays are like traditionally sold to us.
Right.
It feels distant. I'm living on my own. I think I spent a
Mm-hmm.
lot of holidays just like living on my own because I was just like in a space and like literally had no one around. And like that's a
Right.
choice. It doesn't bother me, but um like being with Erica and with her family, like we do Zoom calls. Sometimes I Zoom with my sister and niece. It's bringing me back into it. And I think part of that was it doesn't innately feel like mine, like my culture. There's no culture behind it actually, right? It's just
Mm-hmm.
about the gift giving. But last year, I celebrated Kwanzaa for the first time, and so I have the kinara up, and I wanted to like I found my balance between celebrating Kwanzaa, which is traditionally for African Americans, um, and being Haitian, and like trying to incorporate some of my Haitian culture into it, but also celebrating Christmas too. And I think having Kwanzaa added, like having something that's black and like that's part of like my identity, makes me enjoy the holidays a bit more now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm always planning about like how to make them better and like more family oriented. Like that trip we took to
Right.
Pennsylvania, like I always envision like that being me and Erica's house, and like you
Mm-hmm.
guys, my family, everyone that's coming to like our little farm in the snow.
Yeah.
Like we have a pond and stuff like that. Like that's my vision all the time. So I'm looking forward to more and better. But like I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. That was a fun ass trip too.
Yeah.
That was a fun trip.
The little otter and the little pond.
The otter that was there is like, is that the
Uh,
otter? And everyone's like with their phones, like, is that the otter? Is it that? And then like the ghost stories we created, we kept saying
right,
that there
right,
was a
right, right.
ghost living in
What
the
was her, what
in
was
the
her
basement.
name?
Genevieve.
Genevieve. Genevieve. I broke the lock because I was high and I couldn't. I thought it was open but closed, and I just flipped it. And that was fun, man. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a really great trip. That's what I think I like the most about the holidays, like you said. Just creating your own traditions. I thought it was really cool that we all decided like let's go rent a house and just hang out at this house for a couple days and like
Right.
cook together and just talk and have beers and just like so communal and like cool to me.
Right.
So
Right.
it's
Right. Right.
definitely something I
Most
appreciated.
of us cooked, right? But like we all went to the grocery store. We all had like our days. You cook Monday, you cook Tuesday. Me and
Yeah.
Erica got to close out, which I said it feels reminiscent, right? The
Hmm.
the host serves you last, right? Like everyone else comes, you invite your meal, and then like the host, we close out, give y'all like the best meal.
And we saw Mark Ruffalo, which was
Right,
also
right, right. And my
because we were
was
like right on the border, and
right,
we went
right,
to that
right.
little town in New York, and then because we were in Pennsylvania, but we were in that little town on the border, and we are like, Mark Ruffalo is here, and we're like, what, Mark Ruffalo,
Um,
which was
was it
really
Michelle
also cool.
Williams? Is that it? Not Michelle Williams? Yeah, it was Michelle Williams too. Yeah,
We saw Michelle Williams. I didn't
yeah,
see
she
her.
was there with him.
No, she wasn't.
She
Are you
was.
sure,
I walked right past her.
Erica? Is that true? Wait, which Michelle Williams?
I think the
Destiny's
one from
Child or
Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek?
Dawson's Creek, yeah.
Okay. Why don't I remember that?
So man, you kind of brought up some good points that tie into some of our topics. So some things we're talking about, top 5 like holiday themed episodes. I kind of did mine last year, so you're gonna offer some of yours. I'll jump in.
Okay.
Favorite non-gift giving activities. What do you gift yourself for the holidays? What did you gift yourself for the holidays this year or recently? Your favorite gift from last year and from your childhood. You're gonna do the Kwanzaa Rap, and we're gonna go over the 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
I'm gonna try and do the Kwanzaa Rap.
I'm excited. You're gonna do the Kwanzaa Rap.
I wrote it down on my phone too, what I could remember, because mind you, I have not performed this or rapped this since I was probably 10 years old, I think. So it's gonna be. I'm gonna try.
What do you want to start with?
Best. Let's start with the top 5 holiday themed episodes of television shows.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, Erica says she only remembers Mark. So maybe only you saw Michelle Williams.
I got the Michelle Williams experience, yeah.
That's not fair, because she's my favorite Michelle Williams. Don't tell the other Michelle Williams.
She's my favorite. I like that.
Don't tell the other Michelle. Chico Fontaine said he wished it was Destiny's Child. Okay. I believe that. So my top 5 holiday themed episodes. It's so funny. One of them is I wanted to stay on task and like pick like Black shows, but I did end up picking the Festivus episode of Seinfeld because it was like Festivus for the rest of us. Because it was like if you didn't want to celebrate Christmas, if you didn't want to celebrate Hanukkah, like George's insane father coming up with the idea of Festivus, which I always thought was very cool. 2 episodes of Family Matters, because I feel like Family Matters really captured the essence of Christmas with their holiday episodes. There's the episode where Steve, he ends up breaking. Well, this was also something I noticed. All this guy does is break Laura's shit on Christmas. I watched 3 episodes of Family Matters Christmas episodes in the last couple of days, and every episode he broke some of her shit, and he's like, "Can I do that?" And I'm like, "Steve, man, I really can't."
Yes, he did that. Only you do that. Yes, it's you.
It's you, bro. But it was the episode where he broke like a family heirloom of theirs, that like an ornament. Season 1.
Episode. Okay.
Season 1, I think probably episode 13 or 14. He breaks Laura's ornament off the Christmas tree, and she's pretty much like, "I'm so tired of your shit, bro. You have to leave. Go spend Christmas with your weird ass uncle. You're not welcome here anymore." And then like at the same time, they're like having a hard time getting presents because they waited last minute. Carl went to go get this ready teddy for little Richie. Gets into a fight with this old lady who was like, "Nah, you jumped the line." And the whole time I'm like, "You're a cop. Like, just take the shit and go. Like, what is going on?" And then you end up finding out, like, you know, Steve is telling them, "You got to just believe in Santa Claus. He's going to bring you everything you need." And they're just like, you are 15 years old. Oh, it was season 2. I guess it was season 2 episode like 15. But yeah, Santa Claus ends up being real. Like he fixes the ornament. He brings them all the things that they've asked for. Santa Claus is real. That's what we learned from that episode. But it was also less about the gift giving and more of them being like, "You know what? I know Steve keeps messing shit up and he gets on my damn nerves and he makes everybody uncomfortable and he is constantly sexually harassing me. But let's invite him over for Christmas." And then they invite him over for Christmas and he was happy and they were all happy. So that was good, I guess. But it was enjoyable to watch. It was very fun. And in the second episode of Family Matters, I watched.
Let me cut it a little bit. Let me get some talking.
I was about to go through all 5 like this. Like, all right, this is number 1. This is number 1. Yeah, listen.
I was just laughing because you said it was season 1, and like that's all. Like even from this thing about the toxicity of the show, right? Like even from season 1, Steven breaking shit, coming to your house. "I ain't fucking with you no more." And it's just the same episode every single time. And like I was thinking about The Simpsons, one of the reasons I stopped watching The Simpsons, I was watching an episode and there was, Homer does something stupid, Marge gets mad at him, then she forgives him. And I'm like, yo, this, like, she ain't never gonna leave. Like, she just gonna accept this for the rest of her life. Like, that's just what TV is, man. TV is
It's
just
the American
acceptance
way.
of bullshit. Right.
It's the American way. But then, like, you could be, that's just how, like, that's a lot of people, though. He'd be like, women married for 40 years, like, yeah, I know he's an idiot, but I love him. And it's just like, yeah, that's just how life is. Because you think about it, is TV reflecting real life, or is it the other way around? And I feel like it's more like real life is reflecting what we see on TV. Because we all know, like, well, maybe we all don't, but we all know someone that's just like, how did you do this for 30 years with this guy? He is
how do you do this for like 2 days?
15 minutes.
Like, I'm out. I'm on a minimalist journey. Like, this is too much. I'm out. I'm
You're
checking
like,
out
I got a blast.
shit quick.
Yeah. He's he's Steve Urkel's he's the worst. He's the worst. But you feel sorry for him because his family does not love him. That is the theme for Steve's family. They're not love him.
They're the only ones who are consistent. They're like, yo,
yeah,
get the fuck out
they're
of
like
here.
consistently
He's
like
done. He's done.
We get it. You're smart, but we do not like you. And they don't like him. They're never around for the holidays. We never meet his parents. They just do not like him. He's essentially an orphan, living alone.
Oh,
right?
Man. Yeah. Man.
But the second episode I watched was season 3. I think it was episode 14, 15, because it's usually around the same. Is when again Steve breaks. Yeah, Steve breaks something. Yeah, no boundaries were respected in 90s TV. Not at all. Not at all. I think Steve breaks a vase that Laura was going to give to her mom for Christmas. And she's just like, you know what, Steve? For like the 400th time, I'm so tired of your shit. And, stay away from me. Stay out of my life. Stay away from my family. You're garbage. You're trash. And then she goes something like, I wish you could understand what it's like to be me, right? And then they like switch places. Guardian Angel comes down and goes, I'm going to switch places. And then you see Laura on the other, like the receiving end, being a super annoying, super obnoxious, sexually harassing Steve, destroying shit. And did I do that? And all that shit. And you're just like, am I supposed to feel sorry for Laura in this scenario? You're still annoying. And I understand why they said what they said. She's like, I was really in love with Steve in that like hypothetical situation, and he didn't love me back, and that hurt. Yeah, move on. That's what you should have learned. But she did it anyway. She changes back, and then she goes, Steve, as long as you're okay, it's fine that you broke my mother's vase. Can you please take me home? And he's like surprised. He's like, oh my God, I've been crossing these boundaries with her, and she's fine with it. Wow, thank you, Laura. And then that's the end of the episode. It's just nonsense, but it's enjoyable nonsense because it's that Christmas spirit of forgiveness,
It feels like TV just parallels life, right?
It does. It does.
Right. And I'm thinking about like bigger picture, right? Like Christmas represents Jesus's birth and like God's gift to the world. And like no matter what good someone offers, right? It's like it's never enough. We don't care. Thanks for dying for our sins, but I'm still gonna do what the fuck I want to do. Like it's just it's just the acceptance, right? It really is. Just the acceptance.
It's like that's life, baby.
You're bumming out my holidays. Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, Chico Fontaine said boundaries didn't exist in the 90s, Erica. They did not. You could pretty much just do whatever you want. Right. Do whatever you want.
What are the other episodes?
So then we have Living Kringle, which is from Living Single. This is definitely season 1, episode 15. I know that for sure. And no one's into the Christmas spirit except Sinclair, because I think this is Sinclair's pretty much first Christmas away from a family, but she wants to spend it with her friends, and she's trying to get everybody to come over to the house so they can celebrate. They all got other ideas of what they want to do. She eventually gets them together into this one room to celebrate. They start singing, they're having a good time, and then they all just kind of like trail off because they have other stuff to do. Overton's got to go fix someone's sink. Maxine has a date. She's got a hot date she wants to go to. Khadijah wants to go back to the office and work. Regine's got something she needs to do at the boutique because she's going to get 15% commission. She's like, I'm going to go make some money. And it just upsets Sinclair because to her, Christmas is about spending time with family. And then essentially you see that she has gotten everyone these like very custom presents. And they're all kind of feel bad after seeing the presents, like, damn, like Sinclair really put a lot of thought into this. I feel really bad. So they all go back to the house to see if she's there, and she's gone. She's not. She didn't wait for them. She went out to go find her own fun, and they find her in a bar leading a group of people like a choir. And they apologize to her, and they realize how important it is, and then they make the effort. And I think that's what Christmas is supposed to be about, to me anyway, or the holidays are supposed to be about, like togetherness, being around people that make you happy, being around, she's like, I'm going to be around my favorite cousin and my best friends. And that's what it was about for her. It wasn't about hooking up or just all these like little tedious, tiny, like dumb things that they want to go do. Kyle wants to go trade stocks and 15% commission for Regine. And it's just like, who cares about that stuff if you don't have like people to enjoy it with? So they eventually, apologize, and they realize her point, and they have a good holiday. But yeah, I don't know. That's why probably Sinclair is like one of the best characters on that show, because they don't give her enough credit because she's like such a silly person and she's such a goofy lady, but she's always had like their best interests at heart. And I think she really showed them in that episode, like why Christmas is important and why family is important.
I don't have anything to add on.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are your thoughts on that episode?
I wrote a note to connect to a later segment.
You what?
I said I just wrote a note to like connect to a later segment. You're good. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry, hold on one second. And then the last episode I put, which is it's a Kwanzaa episode of the Rugrats.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last year.
I don't know the season. I just know it's the 143rd episode, and all the kids learn from Susie's. They learn from Susie's grandma about Kwanzaa, and she explains to them like the principles and what Kwanzaa is about. And then Susie kind of gets bummed out because she feels like she hasn't accomplished anything yet in her life, and she's like, I want to be great like my ancestors and like the people that came before me. And it's like, Susie, baby, you're only 3 years old, you have plenty of time to give. And then that's pretty much the end of the episode. But it is nice to see like episodes of Rugrats, the Proud Family, where they do episodes about Kwanzaa, because I feel like Kwanzaa is never really talked about when it comes to holiday specials. And you just in general, you hear everyone say like, oh, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, but you never hear anyone really say Happy Kwanzaa. And I think that's because a lot of people aren't so public about celebrating Kwanzaa. Like besides you, my cousins celebrate Kwanzaa. The twins, Shonda and Shalisha, they celebrate Kwanzaa. They have their kinara, and they go through the principles and everything. And they're just like, they love Kwanzaa, and that's what they celebrate instead of Christmas, because I think they celebrate Christmas too because most of their family does. Bless you if you sneezed. But yeah, they definitely celebrate Kwanzaa, and I think that's great because, like I told you before, I celebrated Kwanzaa as a kid, but not because of my parents, but because when I went to school, we had teachers that were like, have you guys ever heard of Kwanzaa? And they taught us about Kwanzaa, they taught us about Hanukkah, they taught us about Christmas. They were like, yeah, there's so many different kinds of celebrations happening around this time of year. So let's like learn about Kwanzaa. And so we learned about Kwanzaa, we learned about the 7 principles. We learned that it went to the first day, like to New Year's, New Year's Day, and it was really interesting. But like I think after graduating from elementary school, it wasn't really heard about again, really, which is shocking because I went to like an all-Black middle school and high school, and it was very much about like Black excellence and success and all that. But we definitely didn't really delve into Kwanzaa like we could have.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Rugrats episode was just like a special. I tried looking for it last year, couldn't find anything. I found places where it says it was like season 5, episode 13. You go there and something else.
Yeah.
But like it was dope just knowing that something like that existed, especially in
Hmm.
a show like Rugrats, which is predominantly, like white kids or white babies.
Hmm.
Um, and tying into, again, as always, right, kind of finding this podcast, trying to find those gems that have always existed that we just never
Right.
knew about because we were just stuck in the matrix of the Channel 7 ABC holiday special.
The mainstream stuff, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been nice to see more specials about it, especially when, I think people feel like they have to pick what they celebrate. And I don't necessarily think that's true. I feel like if you want to celebrate Christmas and you want to celebrate Kwanzaa, you can do both. If you want to celebrate Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, you can do both. If you want to celebrate, Christmas and Hanukkah, go ahead. Like, there's not really anything stopping you from, you know, enjoying those holidays, especially when it's, the main focus of it before, which is just be thankful, grateful, and be around family.
Right.
But yeah, Kwanzaa needs
Um,
more cred for what it is.
yeah, I mean, I being on TikTok, there are a lot of people doing, like, not doing, but I think embracing Kwanzaa a lot. Like last year, it was my first time doing it. I posted it, and I connected with a lot of people who were celebrating. A lot of Kwanzaa podcasts. It's there. I think it just needs to be consistent, and
Right.
it needs to kind of exist outside of December also, right? Because if
Hmm.
you only think about it once a year, it's gonna die out. And that's just our joint responsibility when we talk about culture and holidays. So yeah.
Right.
Um,
Even did you even know that The Sims is more inclusive about the holidays too? Like, if you play The Sims, you can get a Kinara for your house during their holiday because they now have that as like a thing in The Sims because
that's cool.
it's a lot different than it was. So you get like a calendar and it's like, oh, it's the holiday time, and they don't necessarily call it Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. They're just like, oh, holiday time, and then you could put like a Kinara in your house or menorah in your house or Christmas tree, and I was like, wow. I got a
I,
Kinara in his. This is
I just pulled
cool.
up the picture. Yeah, that looks dope.
Isn't that cool?
I don't know how to share screen if I would, but yeah, that looks dope.
It's
Um,
fun.
so what did you gift yourself this holiday season? So I bought a drawing pad for myself. Like I have I wanted to start drawing more this year, so I bought pen and pad, and I was doing it, and I'm like my handwriting sucks. So I want to be able
Hmm.
to like improve my handwriting first with just basic letters, and then kind of transition into pen and pad, and then the digital pad, so I can start drawing. Um, and that's like I buy myself future gifts. Like I buy it today, knowing
Hmm.
that like I'm really gonna use it next year, but I just want to have it today, get it out the way, and then like
Yeah.
take that responsibility to use it. What about you?
I decided this year not to really focus on buying myself something like physical, but to kind of put my self care and my mental health and everything first. So I've made a lot of goals to look into look into therapy and look into nutrition and just get my get my proverbial shit together. It's less about, you know like me gifting myself something, like I said, physical, but just giving myself time, because I don't think I give myself enough time to take care of myself. So I definitely want to focus on that. That's been like my gift to myself, is just focusing on me and my shit.
And how do you transition that out of the holiday and like make it regular life?
Just just staying focused, just making lists, just journaling and keeping a planner, staying organized. I just really need to, like you said, I feel you said you're like, you seem kind of melancholy, and I like feel like sometimes I'm in a funk and I don't want to be in a funk, all the time.
Right.
So I want to be funkless. So I'm gonna make the conscious effort to like stick to my goals of taking care of myself better, so that I can just have a long and happy life.
I feel like maybe the journaling will transition into was it short story writing we talked about earlier
Hmm.
this season? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Hey, that's cool.
Short story writing and essay writing too. I feel like sometimes I have a bunch I want to say, and like sometimes I want to share it instead of just
Right.
blabbing it specifically at the person closest to me.
I get it.
So yeah,
Curate the chaos and the content.
exactly, exactly,
Well,
exactly.
yeah. Have you do you have a blog, anything, or have you considered blogging?
I used to have a blog. I used to be a big Tumblr user, but then I stopped. But
We
I
all
think,
stop for the same reason. It's
yeah,
okay.
everyone stopped. Yeah. But I definitely want to focus on journalism and not journalism, but journaling, and then
Right.
sharing my thoughts after that in a more constructive way, even if it's just for myself, just to be able to clear my head and get into new things like new hobbies or longer walks or more self-reflection,
Right. 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 All
just
right. So
organizing
what's
my brain.
yeah? That's where you got to start. Right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite non-gift giving tradition?
My favorite non-gift giving tradition
That's a tongue
is
twister, right?
it is you saw me walk I was working through it real slow. I was like, what did he just say that I have to repeat? I didn't do it this year, but I think my favorite tradition was definitely when I was a kid and my mom would put up the Christmas tree, me and my sister helping her decorate it. That's always been like my favorite thing. It's just because we had a I think one year especially we got like a real tree and we were so pumped about it. We got a real tree. We're rich. We weren't rich. And then we
Bowling, yeah.
decorated it. We're balling with my mom decorate like she was like, come on, let's decorate the tree. And we get the lights and the ornaments, and she would always theme it like these beautiful like gold and whites, and she put that up, and then she would always put this beautiful wreath on the door that was made out of like gold ornaments on our front door, and like this long like weird shrub across our like TV set with little bows and stuff on it, and it was just so beautiful. And then I always was in charge of wrapping the gifts on top of that, and she was like, you do it because you do it so neat, and we like would work together to do this, and it just like, oh, it was so nice. It made it feel like such a group effort, and it was fun, and it was like, this is my favorite, this is my favorite thing to
Right,
do.
right, right.
That and drinking eggnog, which I feel like Chico Fontaine would agree. He's a big eggnog fan. Um, especially with a little bit of probably like some Hennessy or something in it. Maybe I never actually tried that, but
Honestly.
maybe I'll start this year. But not the dark stuff, the white stuff.
Or the white henny.
The white Henny you can only buy in airports.
Right, 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 right. I remember the first time I saw white henny, man. Man, just drool and salivate and take. Yeah, I'm relapsing into the old days.
I have a picture when we went to Mexico earlier this year. I have a picture because we brought back 2 bottles of white Hennessy, and I was holding them like this, and I was like,
Man,
I got white Hennessy
bro.
for sale. Like I got white Hennessy for sale, but I didn't really because I was like, nah, I'm not gonna sell these. I'm gonna just keep them for myself. But yeah, what's your favorite tradition,
I'm just
non-gift giving activity?
gonna add this real quick. Erica's is mine is Christmas Eve, fave dinner, and just watching Christmas movies, drinking, and spending time at home with my family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I think I like the traditions Erica and I have kind of started. Like on Christmas Day, we get like shrimp. We make like shrimp cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Um, drink champagne. Then we drink mimosas. Um, have like a charcuterie board and just like snack and eat like very lightly and just open gifts. And do FaceTime video with family. Yeah,
That's nice. I like that. That's
it's
really
cool. It's
cool.
cool.
I
Chico
want a
Fontaine
charcuterie board.
is watching A Christmas Story. Did you know they made a
Yeah,
Christmas Story too?
sure did. With the
Man,
original kid. Well, there's
man, that was
actually
terrible.
three. There's three of them because there was a Christmas Story sequel that wasn't very popular, and it had a Culkin brother in it. And then the new one has the kid from the original one
Right.
who was also an elf. But I also like to watch A Christmas Story, that and A March of the Wooden Soldiers, which is a very I don't know. Have you ever seen A March of the Wooden Soldiers?
Nah.
It used to come on the WB every year around the same time as A Christmas Story, and it's essentially they're in Toyland and Little Bo Peep is there, and there's a ghoul that's trying to kidnap her, because she's one of the she's a child of the woman that lives in the shoe who has like so many kids. It's a really silly story. It's from like the 19 I think it's from like the 1930s or the 1940s, and it would scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. And when I got older, I was like, all right, this is not really that scary, but I still watch it every year because it's like nostalgia from when I was a kid. Remember watching
Right,
it,
right.
but it's a weird movie, but it's a fun movie. And there's literally wooden soldiers in it trying to fight these like demon monsters, and they're like walking around like this. They're like walking around like this, and
Look like you're running laps. Just,
this is how I run laps.
I'm blue da doo dee da. Yeah. Okay. All right. What are some favorite and least favorite holiday traditions and movies and TV? I'm automatically thinking about the car breaking down on the side of the road, the kissing outside for the first time, and it snows at us at the perfect time. Uh, yeah, I mean, I feel like watching. Maybe it's part of the like removal from like the innocent romance of like childhood. Like as a kid, it feels
Hmm.
magical. Oh, Christmas snow. And I remember the first time I experienced snow on Christmas Day, and I was like, doesn't feel like magical. This shit is whack. They lied. This shit is whack,
Oh
son.
my god.
Um, and yeah, that's like this like removing yourself from the allure of what television kind of stuff.
Oh man. I like the little the snow on Christmas. It's like it's just like you said, it's just like TV. And then you go
Right.
out and play in the snow for like a couple hours, and then it's just dirty slush.
I
Um
like it in cartoons. I'm thinking about there's this Arthur episode where I think it's like a Christmas episode, and everyone just ends up being at his house. I think I like it in cartoons, but Arthur's just a dope show overall too.
yeah, the brain.
Yeah.
He used to celebrate Kwanzaa
Right, right, right,
because he was black.
right, right.
Black icon. Chico Fontaine said that that's Barbara and my mom's favorite. That's his aunt Barbara, and his mom's favorite movie was March of the Wooden Soldiers. So at least I know I'm not the only person that was watching it. It was also my mom too, because my mom was watching it. um, I don't know. I don't know if I have like a non-favorite Christmas like tradition. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe not.
I don't think I have a non-favorite one. I don't really think
Okay.
about it.
Maybe not even favorite, just like I've seen this before. It's not that it's all right. Like something you just hate on. Like this shit is being
Oh,
being
like
a holiday
hating.
hater. A holiday hater.
Hmm.
What
Let
do
me
you holiday
think.
hate on? There we go. Now,
I think
now
about
it's connecting.
yeah, it's connected a little bit. I think I don't know. Probably. I don't have anything. I can't think of anything, Clifford. I'm trying to think, and I'm
Uh,
like, there's nothing
it's all right.
I can hate on about Christmas. Probably like how hard, probably like how commercialized it is, just in general. How hard people go about
I like that. I like that. It's fair.
gifts and like thinking they have to be like expensive or like crazy. Sometimes you could just buy somebody something because it's like, oh, this made me think of you. Or oh,
Right,
this is
right, right.
something I think you would be interested in, instead of, I love whatever gift I give, I get, but I feel like a lot of people sometimes are just like, I don't want that. And I don't like that. I don't like sometimes if it's like ungrateful, but that's
They
really
want
it.
they want their stocks like you said, Kyle, and for 15% commission, like Regine.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like so when you brought that up, I was thinking about like Sinclair and the gifts you said. The gifts she gave were personal,
Hmm.
and connecting it to the idea of this culture, right? Like cultural gifts are more personal. and what everyone else is doing is just part of the the regular consumerism and all that stuff that people
Yeah.
dislike about the holidays. Um,
Yeah.
so to wrap up with our Christmas discussion,
Ooh.
what was your favorite gift from last year and your favorite gift from your childhood?
Sorry, I'm like pointing over, like, oh, did you see? Erica said people normalizing dealing with toxic family just because it's a holiday. I would have to agree with that one because sometimes people want you to put your differences aside for the sake of the holiday, even if the person, even if you like, let's say you don't talk to the person all year round because they're not good for you. It's like, let's put it all aside for Christmas. And it's like, that's crazy. Sometimes you just got to keep that boundary because, like why
I don't
give you a
know.
reprieve for the holidays? I don't. Yeah, I agree with that. And then I think
So,
Chico Fontaine said the Rockefeller tree. I get that. That is it's crazy over there. That is insane.
all right. So, I guess Erica is saying that her least favorite thing is people normalizing
Yeah.
dealing with toxic family. So I see that a lot on TikTok. And for me, it feels like this new cultural shift where people are just very kind of adds on to like the zero tolerance aspect, where people are just
Hmm.
like, hey, this stuff happened in the past. I'm just like done, which I get. But I feel like a lot of it deviates into just like not trying or not even showing up. Um, I don't know. I like the idea of letting go our differences of just for a day, right? Because it shows you that there's still some humanity in the person. Like they're not as bad as you think they are. Or maybe they're bad majority of the time. But like if one day you can come together with your enemy and just enjoy a moment, right? Like I feel like that keeps peace. So I like the idea of the hope, right? Because Christmas is about hope. So I feel like
Hmm.
you get with family, you get with people you don't really vibe with, and you hope it gets better. And it doesn't, and the next year you hope it gets better, and then like you
Yeah.
just accept it, right? And they're
Yeah.
there, I'm there, and like that's it. I don't know. Yeah,
I feel like with situations like that, if you've given it like a solid chance or a solid try to, like, whatever, try and come overcome your differences and it works, then that's cool. But like also on top of the hope is like being let down every year when you do decide. I think sometimes you see, especially when people share them going home for the holidays, it's like, oh, got to deal with that racist uncle, or oh, got to deal
right.
with the aunt that's always got something to say about like my job or whatever the case is. And it's like, oh, do you just put up with that because it's the holidays, or do you just kind of go, why am I going to keep inserting myself in a situation where I walk away feeling not good about myself, or feel like you have to kind of argue your humanity or whatever the case is. So I definitely understand the trying to stay away from the toxic family,
Right.
or just toxic people in general, because it can't be good for you to keep putting yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, it's the holidays, let's just get through it, because you can have peace at home. So
Okay. Yeah, I don't know,
yeah.
Alex. I think I'm okay with the disappointment, right? Like if I go somewhere with hope and I get let down, like I say, okay, they haven't changed, and like I just shift into the next thing. But I
Mhm.
like I said, I get it.
Yeah.
Now we can put our differences aside at someone's graduation, not my happy place Christmas. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is your favorite gift from last year and your favorite gift from childhood?
um
Or if
my favorite
Francine
gift,
has something to add to. No, not me. If I don't like you, I'm not going to be around you. I can't hide my feelings.
she's not lying. um my favorite gift from last year was I did this bad thing. I think I told you this before. I kept saying like, oh man, I really need this thing and I really need that thing.
Right,
I
right.
want
I
to buy
remember.
this for myself. And Robert was like, please stop doing that. And I was like, why? And then I realized it was because he was buying me the things that I wanted, but I was also buying them for myself. But the idea that he was paying such close attention, there's this perfume I really like by Chloe, this rose perfume that I've been wanting for years and years and years, but I always like will put it in the back of my head or forget what it looked like. And he bought it for me. And I mean, I also bought it for myself, but now I have so much of it. And now when I wear it, I'm like, oh, this is the gift that Robert gave me. So that was
Right, right.
definitely one of my favorite gifts from last year. My favorite gift from childhood. What was my favorite gift from childhood? Um, oh, one year we got a dog. We got a Rottweiler named Roxy. That
That's
was my
sweet.
favorite gift. I miss her, but that was my favorite gift. I was like, wow, and it was a big dog too. But it might not have been Christmas. Let me take that back. My favorite
What happened?
gift
What happened to
was
Roxy?
she was getting too big. And she was getting too big. And he didn't have a Rottweiler.
She's getting too big. She's getting too
She's
big.
getting too big. She's getting too big. You know what? Probably my favorite my favorite Christmas gift. I'm gonna be mushy. I'm gonna say it was my sister. My sister was born 12 days before Christmas, and
That's
she's my
sweet.
best friend. So, like, that was a great gift. Thanks, Mom. That was a great
I
gift.
like that. I like that. I like that.
So yeah, so like now every year, I got my sister, and now like I have a nephew and stuff. So that's really cool. So I'll say my sister's my favorite
All right,
Christmas
I like
gift.
that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. What's your favorite Christmas gift you got last year?
Telescope. Erica got me a telescope. I feel like I've been talking about it for like maybe two. I talk about things a lot,
Mm-hmm.
like because I have to like mull the idea over, and I'm like, do I have space for this? Do I really need it right now? Um, and I think I was gonna buy one, but I just said, I'm okay right now, and she got it. When I saw the box, I thought it was a PS5. And oh, she got me a PS5. I said, okay. I said, oh shit. She got the hookup, huh? She got the hookup. But yeah, I saw the telescope, and I was even happy about that.
That's
uh,
cool.
yeah, yeah. I haven't really
You
used it
looking at
yet.
planets
Uh,
and stuff? Yeah, I was gonna say you looking at planets
yeah,
and stuff.
I brought it out on the balcony once. I don't know. I want like the free. I want perfectionist. I want like the free space of having of
Mm-hmm.
being able to look instead of being confined.
Yeah.
I'll get
You
over
ever
it at some point.
you ever think about you ever think about taking it out when you go on like hikes and stuff? And maybe doing like a late hike and
I mean,
looking
it's a
out.
like it's a big telescope, and
It's a big
I don't
boy.
want to keep. Yeah, yeah. Not like huge, but I don't want to carry it. Like it has some weight to it. It's like a big
Okay.
stand. I don't want to carry carry it.
Okay. All right. I understand that.
Favorite childhood gift. My initial answer was like either like Sega Genesis or PlayStation, but that feels like very
Mm-hmm.
cliche. Um, so I used to pick my gifts out. We go to the pharmacy, and I'll be like, I want this, I want this. My mom's would buy it for me. I would wrap my gifts up, and then on Christmas Day, I'd open it like, hey, surprise.
Oh my gosh. You're like, oh my
So,
God, who got me this? I love it. And it was like, you
oh
picked it.
man,
You better
yo,
like it.
I had imagination. That's why I can always be alone because I just have my own fun imagination.
Yeah.
Um, it was like this travel Monopoly game,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you just had to like twerk, you screwed it up and like you twisted it and stuff like that. And I just remember I remember her buying it. I gift wrapped it, and I'm like who the fuck? And this is like 2 years later. Like who am I kidding? Like I know what it is. So I just opened it and it started playing with it, then and there.
That's funny.
Uh,
Oh, you know what? One year I got an Amazing Amy doll. Do you know what Amazing Amy doll is?
I've heard about it. I'll look it up.
It was like, Amazing Amy, how does she know? I just know. And it was like sort of interactive, so you could feed it and she would know what you were feeding it. You lay it down, she know it was
Oh
time
yeah,
for
yeah,
sleep. You
yeah.
had to like take care of her. I got one of those. That was crazy. I love that thing. That I had a lot of gifts that I love actually now that I think about it as a kid besides my sister. So it was my sister, then the
Damn,
Amazing Amy doll,
you couldn't have stopped there.
and a Furby. I got a Furby, and it was a Furby when it was like hard to get Furbies. And I remember I got a Furby, and I was like, "This is crazy." And I would talk to it, and you teach it English and shit because it used to just speak a lot of Furbish. But
Right,
that was
right,
a
right.
cool ass present too. So definitely things I had to take care of was like my favorite kind of gift.
I'm thinking
The
about
gift of
how
motherhood.
Furbies became Baby Yoda for this generation, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's funny.
Definitely.
So let's wrap up with Kwanzaa. You want to lead with the rap and to intro us with whatever you remember?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
I wrote it down. Now,
Bars.
remember, I I don't have bars. I was about to say I don't have any flow either. All right, where
It
is
says
it?
bars underneath it. I'm saying,
Bars. Oh gosh, it says Tati's Kwanzaa Rap. First of all, I did not write this. This was Miss Parks
copyright,
from,
copyright.
yeah, Tappan Elementary School, PS 46. Miss Parks, thank you for writing this song. I still remember it, obviously, but here goes. Jesus Christ. Kwanzaa is a time to celebrate the seven laws in seven different ways. Now, the language is Swahili, and it's plain to see this is an African connection to bring unity. Kwanzaa means first fruit of the harvest time. Now, we may not have a garden, but we've got our minds. Plant the seeds in our heads so we can grow at will. Cultivate and educate until it's time to chill. And then this is the next part, and this is all I remember. The Guza Saba means the seven laws, and each one is on a mission for a righteous cause. And then you just repeat that 3 times until you fade out and you go, for a righteous cause, for a righteous cause. And that's it.
That was dope. I feel like you played it off like you didn't have anything, but that was for everything, right?
I think so. I'm not
You got a good
sure.
memory. You got a
I
wild.
try. And you would think I'm surprised that I remember anything past yesterday, but I remember that rap. Probably
Yeah,
because I performed it a lot.
I actually remember a Kwanzaa song too. Uh, it's Kwanzaa, an African American celebration, a party across the nation, and that's all I remember. That
where
was the
did
last
you
one.
where did you hear
Elementary
that?
school. Elementary school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my like
That's what,
Francine is I don't know if it's obvious that is my mother, but
right.
she heard me perform this song probably maybe 2 or 3 times because I was like very active in elementary school. Like any activity that they said I could do, I was like, I'm gonna do that shit. So I would do the holiday shows. I was singing the choir. I was on the chess team. I was like, I'll do all this shit. I love it. But yeah, the Christmas ones were always the best because we did like the Kwanzaa song, we did the dreidel song, we did Christmas songs in English and in Spanish. So it was cool. It was very cool. But yeah, the Kwanzaa, I can't believe I remember that. I can send it to you if you want. I don't know if you want to do anything with it.
They copyrighted, so there's nothing more
I
for
don't
me
know
to.
if it's copyrighted. That's the thing. I don't know. But Miss Parks, wherever you are, thank you so much. She probably won't see this, but thank you so much. Also, Miss Rose, shout out to you. Thank you so much.
So Kwanzaa, do you know a bit about the history? And if not, it's cool because I'm looking it up also.
Yeah, I know the history of Kwanzaa because I learned it in elementary school. But it was created in the 80s by a gentleman. I can't remember his name right now. And it has
Dr.
seven.
Maulana Karenga.
Yes, and it's got seven principles. It's all about blackness and cooperation. Um, yeah, that's I think that's the gist of it, of what I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah,
yeah. It was
it's cool. It's a cool
invented,
holiday.
like learning about it and like finding significance, right? Like earlier we talked about when you watch a movie or you listen to something, you're looking for the like culture behind it,
Hmm.
and everything has that. It just gets washed away at some point. But
Right.
being new and celebrating Kwanzaa for the first time and learning about what each candle represents, learning about the principles, and just being like, yeah, like I believe in all of this, so, right? Yeah, like we should be doing all that.
Yeah, you're like,
Um,
oh, this is cool. Yeah, let's do it.
yeah. So, we talked about hoping that more people just find awareness in it and find kind of
Right.
more ways to kind of incorporate it into their lifestyle.
Yeah.
You get fire emojis for your rap.
Ever.
So I'm reading this from the official Kwanzaa website.org. This is the founders welcome, Dr. Malana Karenga. As African American and Pan African holiday celebrated by millions throughout the world, African community, Kwanzaa brings a cultural message which speaks to the best of what it means to be African and human in the fullest sense. Given the profound significance Kwanzaa has for African Americans and indeed the world African community, it is imperative that an authoritative source and site be made available to give an accurate and expansive account of its origins, concept, values, symbols, and practice. Um, and I used the site last year to like reference everything I was doing when I did video. Like I did videos for TikTok each
Hmm.
day, and it's just knowing that like it's there, right? Like I guess as a creator and like as a artist on his end, there's no one like this needs a site and it's there, right? Like I never knew the site existed until last year, but it's like we say it's there, and the
Yeah.
goal is just kind of finding more ways to bring people to it to find
Hmm.
ways to incorporate their everyday lives into it. Um,
Definitely.
the seven principles each represent like a individual, communal, and social value that we should be incorporating into our lives. Um, do you have some of them in front of you? Maybe we could go back and forth.
Yeah. Um, there are seven principles, as you said. Do you want me to read off the first three and you do the last four?
All right, sounds good.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll just read them off and then you do the ones I didn't do because we're probably looking at
Okay.
two different sources. They are Umoja, which is unity, Kujichagulia, which is self-determination. That's my one of my favorites. Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility.
There is Ujama, shared work, wealth, and good in the world. Cooperative economics. The next one is Nia, which is purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. So one thing that I like about the website is it gives you the phrase, it tells you the English definition, and like the founder has his like additional philosophy behind it, so you kind of incorporate it a bit more into your life.
Mm-hmm.
um, Kumba, creativity, to do always as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. And creativity is kind of one of my favorites because it aligns with where I am mentally and like creating like the Black Excellence Calendar. I just launched the app, so like finding new ways to um, use my natural inspiration is to connect the Black experience and further the Black experience. And the last one is Imani, faith, to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Um, and it's like what First Corinthians 13 is. Like First Corinthians 13 defines what love is, and I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
seven principles of Kwanzaa define what our individual and social purposes should be.
Yeah, definitely. I also like, sometimes we think about how a lot of people don't celebrate Kwanzaa, but you do hear, but it's like it kind of, I don't know, it immerses itself a little bit into just Black culture in general when you think about how common of a name Imani is,
Right, right.
and and Nia too.
Me
But
alone.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, but yeah, exactly. Because you think about, you think, oh, we gotta spread this word about Kwanzaa. People should really look into Kwanzaa, and then you see things like Amani. The name is so common now. It's like someone was sort of paying attention to it, and it's like this is where your name comes from. Your name comes from Kwanzaa. It's a principle of Kwanzaa.
Right. Um, yeah. Do you have anything to kind of wrap up with before we close out on this last episode and this episode? So this last season, not this last
Hmm.
season. I'm out of it. This last episode of the season. There we go. I'm all over.
I wanted to say happy holidays to everyone, and thank you for tuning in. This has been an amazing learning experience, and I just hope that everyone has a good holiday and just get out of doing Grinchless behavior and just try and enjoy it until we get to the new year.
I like that. Do
Oh,
you
I
have
also want
anything
to
you want to?
say special thank you to Clifford and Erica for sending me and Robert some very delicious treats. That was lovely. I'm going to eat some of those tonight. So thank you so much.
No problem. She did all the hard work in baking. I was the taste tester. I had an important job, but she had the job. She had the main job.
Yeah. She took
Um,
our allergies into consideration. It was wonderful.
yeah.
Beautiful.
On my end, I'm glad we I'm glad we got to do this. You know, it's been a really fun experience working with you. I said I've been saying that I wanted a non-masculine male presence to kind of balance out, and you really bring a lot of that out of me. So I'm happy to keep doing this with you, and thank you everyone who has been listening, watching, everyone who supports when we do the YouTube live. We'll see you next season. Have a happy holiday, happy New Year, and all the best. Peace.
God bless.
Thank you, chat.